The INFJ personality type is the rarest of all types according to the MBTI. They make up less than 1% of the population, and this means that there aren't many people who share their personality type. There are a lot of unique qualities that come with the INFJ personality. But here we take a look at what they hate. First, feeling like one is a burden to others. INFJs feel a sense of responsibility and burden to others because they intuitively understand that their unique perspective and experience can make a difference. They often feel like they are the only ones who can see things from a certain perspective or who have the answers to certain questions. This can make INFJs feel like they are always carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, which can be incredibly frustrating. Second, feeling like one is constantly judged or scrutinized. INFJs are often labeled as being sensitive or perceptive, which can lead to them feeling like they are constantly being judged or scrutinized. This can make INFJs feel like they are not good enough, or like they are not understood. It can also lead to INFJs feeling overwhelmed and stressed, which can have a negative impact on their overall well-being. Third, difficulty expressing feelings or emotions. INFJs are often seen as the most emotionally difficult type of personality. They generally have a lot of difficulty expressing their feelings, and this can lead to them feeling misunderstood or even rejected. Additionally, INFJs often find it hard to communicate with others because they feel like they don't always know how to say what they want or need without sounding pushy or needy. Fourth, unnecessary conflict. INFJs are typically quite conscientious and diplomatic people, and they generally prefer to avoid any unnecessary conflict. However, when conflict does arise, INFJs can be very irritable and frustrated. They may feel that the conflict is pointless or unnecessary, and it can take a lot out of them. Fifth, feeling like one always has to be on guard or on the lookout for danger. INFJs often feel like they always have to be on guard or on the lookout for danger. This can be frustrating because INFJs believe in taking things slow and steady to get the most out of life. They may feel like they need to constantly be on their toes or in fear of something happening to them. Additionally, INFJs may feel like they are constantly being misunderstood or that people do not take them seriously. All of these factors can lead to an overall feeling of annoyance from the INFJ perspective. Sixth, feeling out of place or alone. Some might say that feeling out of place or alone is one of the most common things that annoys INFJs. This is because INFJs are typically very introspective and value their sense of self-awareness. When they feel like they are not in sync with the people around them, it can be frustrating for them. Additionally, INFJs often have a strong sense of morality and ethics, which can make them feel judged or unsupported when they see behavior that goes against these values. Seventh, lying or deceiving others. INFJs are especially sensitive to the feeling of being lied to or deceived. This can be frustrating because INFJs often put a lot of trust in others and feel like they are being taken advantage of when this trust is violated. In addition, INFJs may feel like they are unable to take action or communicate their feelings effectively when this happens. Eighth, disorganization. INFJs are often annoyed by disorganization. This can manifest itself in many different ways, but one of the most common is when things are not where they should be or when things are not in their proper order. This can make it difficult for INFJs to find what they're looking for and can frustrate them when they have to spend time sorting through everything. In addition, INFJs often feel like they're not able to fully participate in activities because everything is so chaotic. So, disorganization can really bother them on a personal level as well as an organizational one. Ninth, sensitivity to criticism. INFJs are very sensitive to criticism and often take it to heart. They may feel like they can't do anything right and will start to doubt themselves. This can make them feel frustrated and angry, which is why it's important to be gentle when critiquing an INFJ. It's also important not to give them unneeded feedback that they won't be able to use or apply. For example, telling them their idea is wrong without giving a better one would be counterproductive. 10th, overthinking things. INFJs are often drawn to detail and analysis, which can sometimes lead them to overthink situations or details. This can be especially frustrating when it's apparent that others don't seem to be taking the same level of care in a situation. INFJs also have a tendency to overanalyze their own thoughts and feelings, leading them to second-guess themselves or feel like they need constant reassurance from others. In both cases, it can be difficult for INFJs to get their point of view across effectively and feel supported by those around them. 11th, feeling overwhelmed or stressed out. For INFJs, feeling overwhelmed or stressed out can be really frustrating. We love being in control and having a clear plan for everything, but when things start to feel too chaotic or we can't seem to get a handle on our feelings, it's tough. For us, the key to managing these feelings is finding ways to relax and center ourselves. We may need to take some time for ourselves, go for walks or read a book, or talk to someone we trust about what's going on. In the meantime, we'll do our best to keep things under control and stay as organized as possible. 12. Poor time management skills. INFJs are often very detail-oriented and organized, which can make them very efficient when it comes to completing tasks. However, they can also be quite impatient when it comes to completing tasks that take longer than they feel is necessary. This can lead to frustration with those around them, as they feel like they are being pushed too fast or not given enough time to complete a task properly. Additionally, INFJs often have a difficult time delegating tasks or taking on other roles within a team without feeling ownership over the outcome. When these types of difficulties arise, it can be extremely frustrating for the INFJ and cause them great stress. 13th. Feeling like a failure or inadequate. For INFJs, feeling like a failure or inadequate can be really frustrating. They feel like they are constantly falling short and that they can never quite measure up. This can make them feel like a disappointment to themselves and to others. It can also make them feel like they have no control over their own life, which can be very depressing. INFJs need to feel like they are able to contribute something valuable to the world and that their efforts are worth something. When their self-confidence is undermined, it can be really hard for them to get back on track. 14th. Feeling like one is always fighting an uphill battle. When INFJs feel like they are always fighting an uphill battle, it can be frustrating. They often feel like they are not understood or that their ideas and thoughts are not taken seriously. They may also feel like they are not given enough credit for their ideas or that their contributions to a discussion or project are overlooked. Additionally, INFJs may find themselves feeling overwhelmed by the amount of work required to maintain their idealized version of themselves. 15th. Being around people who smoke or drink excessively. The INFJ is typically a very introspective person, meaning that they are drawn to spending time alone in order to think and reflect. As such, they may find it difficult to spend time around people who smoke or drink excessively. This type of behavior is often outwardly display of an individual's inability or unwillingness to cope with stress or emotions, and can be quite draining for an INFJ. 16th. Feeling like one can never relax or enjoy oneself. INFJs are often forced to maintain a constant level of energy and focus due to their intense inner world. This can be extremely taxing, especially when INFJs feel like they can never relax or enjoy themselves. They may find it difficult to switch off from their thoughts and feelings, which can lead to them feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Additionally, INFJs often feel like they need to constantly prove themselves to others, which can make them feel inadequate and unfulfilled.